1 week, 1 man, 1 young adult, 1 game. On the last devlog, I asked you guys if you wanted to see me try to make a game in a week, and multiple of you said yes, so I tried to do it. Before I start this video, I want to tell you guys that I have a new and improved Patreon page. Patreon is going to help enable me to be able to do the things that I want to do. If you become a patron, at any level, you will be in the description of every video, you will be in the credits of every game I make, and you get access to behind the scenes posts, videos a day early, and even some game demos early. I'm also doing community goals, so if I hit a certain amount of money per week or patrons in total, I will unlock new benefits for you guys. Currently right now my next goal is $50 a month, which will unlock a patron exclusive outro to all of my devlogs and videos, which will just list off all the names of the patrons. But I'm going to be adding goals between the $20 to $50 range, as I'm already at $20 right now. If you guys really want to support me and help me be able to do this and make more fun videos all the time, then I would really appreciate if you check the Patreon page out. Since this is my first time trying to make a game in any sort of time constraint, my rules for this were that it didn't have to be a fully completed game. Whatever was done by the end of the deadline was done. Now, if you guys like this style, I will do a second one, maybe even less time, maybe even more time, but I'm going to make the second one a fully completed game. My original idea was to have a 2D house cleaning game where you rearranged furniture, threw away trash, and it was sort of a funny physics game to mess around with. Then me and my brother came up with a stupid idea of, what if he was bootleg Mario and you went through retro games and he was the person who cleaned up or set up the games for whenever the hero comes through. So he's sort of like Mario, but not in the spotlight, but also somehow worse than Luigi. The idea I came up with was Mr. Super Builder, and if you guys are wondering, his name is Super Builder. His first name is Super and his last name is Builder. With that idea in mind, I started off. The first thing that I did was try to draw the main character. Just as a placeholder, I don't like using boxes and squares in my games. I like having placeholders. And I kind of like the idea of him. Obviously, I took a lot of inspiration from Mario sprites, but I ended up changing it later on. After working on art, I decided to work on the menu system since I hate menus. What my idea was, you hover over the boxes, they get bigger, then when you unhover over the boxes, they get smaller. I was very content with this idea, and it became the menu system for the entire game. After that, I made the boxes display a message, depending on which one you've hovered over. So you can see it says play game and change game settings. The reason why the middle one doesn't say anything is because I didn't know what it was going to be, and it ended up being nothing. Day 2, I woke up in the zone and focused. So focused, in fact, that I forgot to record the making of all the platforming and all the stuff you're seeing on screen right now. As you can see, I redesigned the character, I gave him animations, and I allowed you to pick up objects and throw them, also added an enemy. I think you can tell that the physics were a bit stupid. I was going for this idea of using actual physics for these objects, and I was basing it off of Super Mario Bros. 3, where you pick up the turnips and you throw it, and using actual physics for this system was a terrible idea. I also added the main mechanic for the game, which is picking up boxes, filling them with items, and throwing them in the spot to sell them. After this atrocity of this physics that I made, I ended up redesigning the physics to not actually be physics. It's just like changing the vectors of each object. You know, it's pre-built physics, fake physics if you will, which I'm pretty sure is what Mario 3 used. I don't know why I used actual physics. It was a stupid idea to begin with, and objects were bouncing off of each other, they were flying up to the ceiling. This system, as you can see, is still not perfect, but I liked it a lot better than what I had. I was in the zone on day 3, so I started working on the tile set. If you're wondering, this tile set is inspired by Super Mario World. I was going for that sort of feel with the tile set, and I like the way that it came out. I think it looks really nice. I didn't stop there on the third day. I added in new objects, and I also tried to tweak the physics so you could have things bounce off of enemies. I also added that cool little animation thing that happens when you kill an enemy, and I added a sky. You might be thinking, did he stop there? No, he did not. I added some new UI elements. I also added a level select screen, some animations for that. I just went all out. I had a lot of inspiration that day, that the entire night I couldn't sleep because I was just thinking of all the different cool things that I could add into the game, and I worked like all day long. The next thing that I did was make it so enemies can be picked up by the crate. I also added a new object that you can throw into the crate, just an extra pickup. And the big thing that I was working on was making placeable objects. You can see that there's a little bit of a glitchy animation thing that happens. That gets fixed eventually. What doesn't get fixed is the collision between throwable items and these bricks. Day 4, I had a hunger and a need for coins. You can see that these are bronze coins. I had the idea that there would be specific coin amounts. I ended up scrapping that later, but you can see various things are giving me coins, whether that be enemies or throwing full crates into the selling area. By the way, I haven't really mentioned it yet, but when there's that little yellow thing on the crate, that means that the crate is full and that it's able to be sold. Day 4, I did something pretty cool. I added a second level called Retro Superland. I also added this number on top of the crate so you can see how many items you've picked up in the crate. That's not all. I added a hammer. You can use the hammer to hit enemies. You can use the hammer to pack the crates, which is what I did differently. Originally, the crates would get 4 items and then they'd be full, but now they can have up to 10 items, and if you can pack it whenever you feel like it. I also fixed that little glitch when you are throwing the brick there. You can see that there's a bit of a glitch with that crate where the number doesn't actually apply to the crate. I don't end up fixing that until the last day. Here we have Retro Superland. My idea was you would get a certain amount of coins and that would unlock extra levels, and the retro ones were going to be game oriented. This one is based off the original Mario Bros, where you're in the sewers killing the turtles, but in this one, since you're Mr. Super Builder, you have to hit broken blocks and fix them in order to get points to get a high score. Day number 5, if you look, you can see a mushroom, there's a pepperoni, there's a little bit of a green pepper, and that's because Mr. Super Builder is obsessed with pizza. He loves pizza, and if he loses all of his toppings, then he just lost. He's a broken man without his toppings. So that's health in this game. I added health and player damage. I also worked a little bit more on Retro Superland. I changed the layout of it a bit. I was sort of running out of ideas for what I wanted to do with Retro Superland, so I didn't really get that much progress done with it. This is my major change for Day 5, was making Retro Superland unlockable with coins. And I also added a back arrow to the main menu. So you had to collect 5 coins. Once you collect 5 coins, the level was unlocked. I was really proud of this progress because I had to add the counter for the coins to see how many coins there were. There was also a lot of different changes that I had to do. You can see that I added like the sprite for the lock. I was pretty happy with Day 5. Day 6, I realized I didn't have any sound effects and I was only 1 day away. So I worked my butt off getting as many sound effects as I could. I used different websites to make them. Here, I'll let you guys listen. I realized it was the second to last day and I didn't have an actual lose condition in the game, so I added this quick little thing where when you lose your health, the character flies up in the air and then he falls down. I also took the time to add a credits tab that wasn't fully made yet, and a settings menu. The only options are being able to mute sound effects and the music. I finished up the credits tab, It shows the inspirations, who made the music, and also the patrons. I actually decided to move the main menu around. I don't really know if I actually like this, but this is what I kept in the end. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff different. I changed the map, I added some new background decorations, and PolarChips actually made an original song for this. He made it in an hour, I believe, which is crazy. I don't know how he does it. The guy's a madman. I added a jump through platform you can see there, and I just added a little more stuff for you to do in Superland. But what I wanted to do was focus on making Retro Superland its own game. Realizing that I had a sandbox game and not an actual game, I worked as hard as I could to make Retro Superland an actual full minigame. So I added this game over screen, and basically you tried to see how high of a score you could get. But there was a lot of issues with it, and the high score didn't even work. It was day 7 already. The week had flown by. I was working as hard as I could to make Retro Superland its own game, and I did it. There's power-ups that come every once in a while. These blocks randomly break, and you have to try to break as many as you can within the timer. You also get attacked by enemies, and if you kill the enemies, it adds a little point, but you get more points if you repair the blocks. I'm gonna end this off by letting you guys see a little bit of gameplay, and I'm also going to tell you that you can download this in the description if you guys want me to continue making this game and extend to different genres. I was thinking of doing like a Minecraft map, or you know, something stupid like Fortnite. But thank you guys for watching. Please tell me if you guys want to see me do more of these challenges, if you want to see me continue Mr. Super Builder, or tell me other challenges you want me to do down below. Thank you guys for watching.
What?